Hello, I'm Daniel. I want to read to you a chapter from The Heart of the Buddha's Teaching today. The Heart of the Buddha's Teaching by Thich, Nhat, Hanh, okay? And this is chapter 2, and it's called The First Dharma Talk. So here it is, the first Dharma Talk. Siddhartha Gautama was 29 years old when he left his family to search for a way to end his and others' suffering. He studied meditation with many teachers, and after 6 years of practice, he sat under the Bodhi tree and vowed not to stand up until he was enlightened. He sat all night, and as the morning star arose, he had a profound breakthrough and became a Buddha, filled with understanding and love. The Buddha spent the next 49 days enjoying the peace of his realization. After that, he walked slowly to the deer park in Sarnath to share his understanding with the 5 ascetics with whom he had practiced earlier. When the 5 men saw him coming, they felt uneasy. Siddhartha had abandoned them, they thought. But he looked so radiant they could not resist welcoming him. They washed his feet and offered him water to drink. The Buddha said, "Dear friends, I have seen deeply that nothing can be by itself alone, that everything has to interbe with everything else. I have seen that all beings are endowed with the nature of awakening." He offered to say more, but the monks didn't know whether to believe him or not. So the Buddha asked, "Have I ever lied to you?" They knew that he hadn't, and they agreed to receive his teachings. The Buddha then taught the 4 noble truths of the existence of suffering, the making of suffering, the possibility of restoring well-being, and the Noble Eightfold Path that leads to well-being. Hearing this, an immaculate vision of the 4 noble truths arose in Kondana, one of the 5 ascetics. The Buddha observed this and exclaimed, "Kondana understands! Kondana understands!" And from that day on, Kondana was called the one who understands. The Buddha then declared, "Dear friends, with humans, gods, Brahmins, monastics, and Maras as witnesses, I tell you that if I have not experienced directly all that I have told you, I would not proclaim that I am an enlightened person free from suffering, because I myself have identified suffering, understood suffering, identified the causes of suffering, removed the causes of suffering, confirmed the existence of well-being, obtained well-being, identified the path to well-being, gone to the end of the path, and realized total liberation. I now proclaim to you that I am a free person." At that moment, the earth shook, and the voices of the gods, humans, and other living beings throughout the cosmos said that on planet Earth, an enlightened person had been born and had put into motion the wheel of the Dharma, the way of understanding and love. This teaching is recorded in the Discourse on the Turning the Wheel of the Dharma. Since then, 2,600 years have passed, and the wheel of the Dharma continues to turn. It's up to us, the present generation, to keep the wheel turning for the happiness of the many. 3 points characterize this sutra. First is the teaching of the middle. The Buddha wanted his, looked like the connection cut off for a second. I hope you're still there. The Buddha wanted his 5 friends to be free from the idea that austerity is the only correct practice. He had learned firsthand that if you destroy your health, you have no energy left to realize the path. The other extreme to be avoided, he said, is indulgence in sense pleasures. Being possessed by sexual desire, running after fame, eating immoderately, sleeping too much, or chasing after possessions. The second point is the teaching of the 4 noble truths. This teaching was of great value during the lifetime of the Buddha, is of great value in our own time, and will be of great value for millennia to come. The third point is engagement in the world. The teachings of the Buddha were not to escape from life, but to help us relate to ourselves and the world as thoroughly as possible. The Noble Eightfold Path includes right speech and right livelihood. These teachings are for people in the world who have to communicate with each other and earn a living. The Discourse on Turning of the Wheel of the Dharma is filled with joy and hope. It teaches us to recognize suffering as suffering and to transform our suffering into mindfulness, compassion, peace, and liberation. So this, and again, that was chapter 2 from The Heart of the Buddha's Teaching. And I think that the teacher, I think Thich Nhat Hanh, is really showing us how he frames all of Buddhist teachings. The path of compassion and love. The path of turning suffering into mindfulness. And that all of this is based on learning how to turn suffering into mindfulness, rather than just carrying around our suffering and just letting our suffering spill out and hurt others, right? And also, he frames it as that we're all connected. That's what wakefulness is. We are all connected. And when we realize that, we will suffer less. We will suffer less. And also, just one more point is, he's free. The Buddha is free. He has declared himself a Buddha. He is free. And to me, what this message is that we want to be free too. We want to be Buddhas. And I always like to say, I would rather be a Buddha than a Buddhist. And we have the power to do what he did because he's just a person like us. He's not some special spirit or something. He's a person like us. And because of that, we can do what he did. Awakening is there for us to find it. And actually, it is a part of our true nature, as he says in the text. Our true nature is awakening. So it is there for us. We just have to grab it. We just have to grab it. So that's it for today. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me. And again, this book is The Heart of the Buddha's Teaching. I really recommend it, and I'll do chapter 3 another time. Thank you. Have a good day.